Circular saws have lots of moving parts, and tons of things on them can be adjusted, swapped, replaced, or removed. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to adjust everything on a circular saw, including some things that you probably never noticed before. And if you're really new to DIY and want to learn things fast, check out Power Tools Explained, my full course discussing in depth how to use the 20 most important power tools. That's available at thehonestcarpenter.com, and it can really speed up your progress. You can also get access to free, exclusive Honest Carpenter videos there as well. Just sign up to join the mailing list here on the homepage header, and you can become a member and receive all of our free videos and guides. That's all available at thehonestcarpenter.com. All right, let's talk about how to adjust your circular saw. So we'll start with some quick basics, then move into some cool, lesser known stuff. And please, for all of these tips, always remember to unplug your circular saw or remove the battery before making any adjustments. Okay, first up and most basic is depth adjustment. Your circular saw blade should never extend more than a blade tooth below your material. So to set that depth, you can just flip a lever near the blade housing or handle. This lets you pivot the saw body to control blade exposure. You can raise or lower the blade, and when you have the right depth, just press the lever back down firmly and your depth is set. This is easiest to do with the sole plate resting on a flat surface and the blade guard lifted. Some saws will even have guides to help you set common depths quickly. My Makita has a depth gauge behind the blade housing. Pretty nice. And my Skilsaw has these markings for common depths on the depth bracket. You just line up the lever contour with the marking you need and tighten down there. That's a very cool feature that field carpenters love. All right, your next basic adjustment is bevel control. Circular saws can tilt to cut different bevel angles. To do this, you'll usually turn a knob or pull a lever near this radial gauge up at the front. This will loosen sole plate tension, and the sole plate can then be rotated. You can set blade angle using the marks on the radial gauge, or to be even more accurate, you can check your angle with an angle finder. And some saws, like my Makita Magnesium, even have positive stops. By clicking this dial to my desired common angle, the saw will swivel to that point and stop. I can then tighten the knob to lock the sole plate there. That's a heck of a feature and saves a lot of time. But bevel adjustment always comes down to just loosening the plate, rotating, and retightening the plate. Just remember though that bevel cutting is trickier, so do it with caution. And tip number 3, rip width can often be controlled with the rip fence. This is an accessory part. It's just a flat bar with a crooked neck and an edge guide. The rip fence feeds into 2 rectangular slots on the top side of the sole plate. You tighten it into place with another wing knob that usually sits on the corner of the sole plate. You can slide the rip fence in and out to adjust your rip width, and you can determine your width by measuring from the face of the guide to your blade tooth. You can usually set the fence on the narrow side of the sole plate or the wide side to create different sized rips. Just make sure to tighten it down firmly before cutting. Not every saw comes with rip fences these days, but you can often buy aftermarket ones that work for your saw. And while we're swapping parts, let's talk about changing saw blades. Most every Circ saw comes with a supplied wrench. Sometimes these tools ride on board and slide somewhere out of the plate or even the handle. The saw will also have a blade lock button. When you hold this down, it will prevent the blade from turning. So with the blade locked, you can use the supplied wrench to rotate the blade bolt backwards. When the bolt or stud is loose, just spin it out and remove the outer washer as well. With the blade guard lifted, the blade can then be slid off the saw shaft or arbor. But leave the inner washer on. It can stay put. New blades install with teeth pointing forward at the bottom. Circular saws backspin, with the teeth pulling up towards the sole plate as they cut. So be sure to slide it on as instructed. And some saws, like worm drives, may actually require a diamond-shaped arbor hole on the blade rather than a circular one. As a result, nearly all circular saw blades can be adapted to this shape with a knockout at the center. Your supplied wrench can help you pry the knockout loose. You just feed the tooth on the end into the circular hole, pry, and the plug will come out. The blade can then be slid onto the saw shaft and inner washer where it'll be firmly seated. Then just slide the outer washer on, also matching its seat shape, and rotate in the blade bolt. Now you can press the blade lock button again and use the wrench to tighten the bolt with forward pressure. Just be sure to use the supplied wrench for this. They're the right length to create proper leverage. Companies will note that using longer wrenches may result in over-tightening, which can harm saw function, so you want to avoid that. Okay, those are the basics. Now let's get into some lesser-known adjustment features. Our next tip is the Soleplate Realignment feature. Circular saws can get slightly out of 90 degrees sometimes. This is because they're heavy and the sole plate takes pressure from a lot of different angles. They might get squished down a bit. If your sole plate is out of square, then all of your cuts will come out slightly beveled. That can really screw things up. So to fix this, most saws will let you recalibrate the sole plate. Usually you do this by setting to max depth, loosening the bevel knob, and flipping your saw over. Then use a square of some sort, like a combo square or a tri-square, to align the blade to the sole plate at 90 degrees. Make sure the square is between blade teeth and pressed flush to the body of the blade. Then a small set screw in the sole plate can usually be adjusted up or down with an Allen wrench to meet the motor mount. You may have to back it off or turn it forward slightly to even get to 90 degrees. But when the two are in contact at the right place, retighten the bevel knob and you should be good to go. Your saw may also require you to zero out the radial gauge during this process as well. So be sure to check your user's manual for specific instructions. And here's a quick bummer note between tips. Circular saws can sometimes get misaligned in the other dimension as well, as in the blade may not be parallel to the sole plate edge. So the saw may pull or steer offline as it's cutting. This used to be adjustable on most saws, and there may still be a couple models out there that will let you do it. But most of them don't, which is unfortunate. So it's all the more reason to handle your saw carefully and responsibly, and don't knock the sole plate out of whack. Turtle it over on its back when you set it down, or possibly even put it in the molded grooves of its case. I used to keep the case by my cut table sometimes, just so I could do that. Alright, let's get on with the very overlooked adjustment. Brush replacement. Most circular saws are brushed, meaning they use carbon brushes and commutators to transfer power to the armature. These carbon brushes can wear down, causing the tool to spark, overheat, and run poorly. But the brushes can be easily replaced. Everyone ignores these little ports on the motor housing, but they're actually the brush ports. You can turn them with the flathead, and the caps pop out. Now you can extract the brushes on their springs. They kind of look like the thing that goes in Neo's stomach in the Matrix, but if they're worn down beyond a certain point, they need to be replaced. You can just order new ones. Then blow debris out of the port with compressed air and make sure the brushes are going in the right way, as in the same way they came out. Then replace the cap and you've got new brushes that extend your saw life. I did a whole video on brush versus brushless tools. I'll link it here. And on that note, we come to the most overlooked saw maintenance feature, oil replacement. This won't apply as much to sidewinders and hypoid saws because they have sealed bearings in their motors. But many worm drive saws actually use an oil bath in their gearbox, and this oil has to be maintained. These saws will have an oil plug on the motor. You can spin the plug out with the supplied wrench and look straight into the gearbox. That's the worm drive gear in there. It's pretty cool. But the gear needs to be bathed in oil, typically up to the lowest threads on the fill hole. And this is not typical oil. It's usually some form of EP oil, that's extreme pressure oil, or possibly a compounded gear oil. It's very thick. In fact, it may be kind of sludgy. And if it seems dirty, it might be full of gunk and debris. If that's the case, you need to replace it. Put the plug back in and run the saw for a minute. This will heat the oil, increasing liquidity. You can then pull the plug, tilt the saw to drain the oil, and replace it up to required amounts. Or if oil is just low, you can simply top it off. The best idea here is to use your saw manufacturer's oil and follow their guidelines in the user's manual. Using the wrong oil can be disastrous in a worm drive saw. And those are all the common adjustments that you can make on most circular saws. Of course, features and details can vary by model, but these tips will apply to the majority of the ones you come across. I'll link some saws and saw attachments down in the description, so feel free to shop those links. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions or anything to add. And be sure to sign up for the mailing list at thehonestcarpenter.com. You'll get free videos and posts delivered straight to your inbox. As always, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'm Ethan James with thehonestcarpenter.com. I'll see you next time.